there's some Revelator songs that I'm like, man, we got to bring those back. But we've done so many songs and albums. There's like so much to choose from that I guess we don't think about it all the time.
You need to get you a really good slide player in Nashville, and you guys need to cover a Derek Trucks song.
You know, he told me Susan wrote the song, which he was proud of. He said that with great pride, you know, the way you say nice things about your family.
From the first note with Tedeschi Trucks, they just blow you away.
Yes, we will. I wouldn't argue with anyone that says that could be my favorite song on I Am the Moon.
He, signs my ticket, and I look over at Susan. I say, Susan, would you sign it too? And she goes, oh, heck yeah.
Kevin calls me and was like, hey, man, what are you doing? I was like, nothing. He was like, Derek wants to record some tuba stuff. I said, when do you want to do it? And he was like, let's do it Wednesday.
It was midnight in Harlem. And it caught our attention, man. And we started diving deep, and we're like, okay, we got to see these guys.
What's up? Welcome to the unofficial Tedeschi Trucks podcast. This is episode number 135, and I am Adam Choit. To follow this show, it's at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram, and on YouTube, just search Tedeschi Trucks Podcast. If you're watching, you're already there, so please be sure to subscribe, give the show shares, likes, comments. I appreciate all that for sure. At Adam Choit on Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to follow me. And of course, subscribe on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. I'll definitely be putting out an audio version of this episode as well. Tedeschi Trucks Podcast.com for all things for this show, how to watch, listen, social media stuff is there. AdamChoit.com for all my personal stuff. Tedeschi Trucks Band.com is their official website. Definitely want to check that out. I'll give more of these plugs again at the end of this episode. But this is a unique one today, something a little different. Usually recapping shows or just talking music, which I'm sure we're going to do as well a little bit. But today is November 28th, 2023, and it is Kofi Burbridge Day of Service. It was, I think this is I want to say second annual, third annual. But anyway, for that aside, I just want to thank Renee Pfeffer for organizing this, and it's been in multiple cities. Saying it's in multiple cities is an understatement. Actually, I pulled up the website. It looks like they took down the full list of cities, but it was in like 10 plus cities. So I'm going to recap my experience volunteering here in Los Angeles and probably talk a little bit about Kofi and bring in whoever wants to pop in and talk about their day volunteering. There was all sorts of causes and volunteer work going on all around the country. So I extended the invite to a number of TTB fans and people in the TTB community and broader Swamp Family world. And I see Zac Transport waiting there in the waiting room. So I'll bring him in. You know what? Maybe before I do, I'll talk a little bit about LA first. You know what? Let's bring Zac. Let's bring Zac in, and we could share our experiences with each other. I'm figuring this out as I go. So let's do it. There he is.
How you doing?
Good. Thank you. Oh, you are such a good sport. I appreciate you taking the time, man.
No problem, man. No problem. It's been a great day, so Community Day of Service may as well serve the pod as well.
You're gonna catch up to Flam, I think, with in terms of like appearances from all the shows he goes.
That's neat.
I don't know where do we start. We can talk about Kofi. We could talk about LA. We could talk about Boston. I want to just thank Allison at Westside Food Bank here in LA for having us and being so helpful and for doing all the work she does for there. We were packing it up. We were packing up the peppers and the canned goods and the cereal and sweeping and making boxes and cleaning up and taking out trash and recycling and doing all of it. And I'm excited to go back. And not only do I plan to go back now that I'm saying this publicly, I'm pretty much obligated to go back, but I'm going to drag others with me. And maybe from the TTB world too, but beyond that, and other friend circles and communities that I'm part of, like where, they need the help. And she was excited, Allison, when I mentioned the possibility of, wanting to help out more. And once you know the people and you know the place, you're that much more likely to go back. But I definitely had a good experience overall. Renee sent me the Spotify playlist. I don't know if someone in your group got the same list and was listening to the same playlist.
Yeah. We
That's
tried to
important.
figure out. Yeah, we tried to figure out the Spotify playlist in the kitchen, and we ended up just putting a shuffle on for Tedeschi Trucks. I found like the complete sessions of all the recordings of their albums, and then we just put it on shuffle. But we tried to start it up, and then I think someone else in the kitchen swapped the set list over, and then we had to go back and forth for it. And one of the guys was like, "Oh yeah, that's just what happens in here. It's like free for all with the music." So we eventually got it worked out where we got TTB playing through all the speakers and stuff.
There you go. And thank you, Tammy Goldsmith, for helping in LA, especially. She's got some comments here that are helpful. We were in 15 cities per Renee. Gabe was at Nashville, and I do have pictures that he posted. I grabbed those in Nashville, and Elizabeth was at San Diego as well. Confirmed.
Yeah. I wanted to also thank Stacy, who runs and is the manager of the community servings in Boston. She was great at getting us all started, getting us all trained up. And then I want to thank Dee as well in our kitchen, who helped us out with getting everything ready for prep. We packed a lot of rice, a lot of fish, and chicken, veggies, and it was really great because they were a nonprofit that provides over 1 million medically tailored meals annually to clients who are basically, immunocompromised or have medical issues where they can't get food on their own. So they help them out by sending them food, and their families in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, who are experiencing like illness or food insecurity. So over like the last 33 years or so, they provided a lot of like 12 million free scratch-made meals, and so we were helping provide all that. Yeah, there's some of the crew, and it was great, and everybody was great doing stuff. And someone told me that they had like enough food, vegetables chopped to make 1,500 meals, which is awesome. And we packaged a lot of rice and a lot of fish. And then so I want to thank those folks too, who were great.
Very cool. Yeah, we got some comments here. Another one from Tammy. Kofi's sister, Leilani, was at Charlotte. That's nice to hear. And David Flam, Tracy coordinated a great day working in the garden in Atlanta. I mean, it's cool to see you guys, working, with the food and prepping meals and all that. You guys were really chopping and cutting and prepping like literal like meals, right?
Oh yeah.
In a kitchen. You were in a kitchen. This is a kitchen versus I was in a warehouse.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go and check in. I think there's a photo of. Let's see.
I didn't get all this. Scott McLennan.
Yeah, Scott with the knife and everything, and then we've got some people doing sweet potatoes. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. We're in the. That's Tara and
right in the foreground
back there, and in the background is Janet, and then we got Mike rather, and then
this looks good. It was much better off me being in the warehouse and not being tempted by all of this, because this looks good. I would be like, this is going to be my lunch. This is not.
We had to meet. It was great. We actually packed wicked fast, and we packed a nice number of meals. And it was perfect how much they had everything portioned out perfectly, because we got through the perfect number of rice, perfect number of fish, to where we were able to portion out all the things that they had set out for us. So it was a very well-oiled machine, very nice process. And once you start getting in a line, like you start getting like a rhythm of it. So they had it perfectly weighed out, because then these little trays, these like microwavable trays, would get sealed up and then flash frozen, so that when they get delivered to the customer, they're able to just heat them up in the microwave, and it's a pre-made, ready-made meal. So with fresh food, not like like anything like processed or like frozen or like any like GMO or anything. It's all like the fresh, like good vegetables and fresh meat and stuff that's cooked in house.
Looks like good stuff. Yeah, it's amazing, or I don't know, not amazing, but maybe it's obvious. But like seeing what your group in Boston was doing, and I'm sure what every group all over the country, groups all over the country was doing, but just us working in the warehouse there, just how fast we could get through what looks like huge amounts of labor in these giant bins of peppers, and pulling them out of the big bins and separating them into crates for ones that are actually good to be sent out.
Tammy Goldsmith says Kofi disliked bell peppers, which is really
Right,
funny that you're
right.
mentioning
As
that.
I was bringing up the peppers, the irony of us packing bell
Yeah.
peppers, which Kofi disliked intensely. Yeah, like what would those bins were pretty huge. What that would take me a day going through like just one bin, and then between like 3-4 of us just going quickly, like we're done with it in like 15 minutes on to the next bin, and we got, I think, beyond what even Allison, the organizer, was kind of asking us to do.
Yeah.
I was a little sad when it was over.
No.
We worked for about an hour and a half, and it felt probably like it felt about that. But then it was over. It's like, everyone's leaving already. I was like, I want to work more. I want to hang out. I want to, where's everyone going?
Yeah, we got a nice vibe with everybody there. We started to get all comfy, and it was cool. And everybody was like getting into the vibe. And by the end of it, they told us that we had packed a ton, like really fast, and they were really happy with the amount of work that was done. And they thought we were not going to get through as much as we did, because but we put in a lot of effort. Everybody worked hard. And it was a really nice effort, and it felt good afterward. And we took one big group photo out towards the end there in front of the.
I got it somewhere.
This display of plates. Yeah, there we go. So there's everybody. So you can, if you zoom in, you'll be able to see everybody who's there. And yeah, it's lovely. It was a great time. So we got Janet, Tara, myself.
Yeah, right here, familiar face from past guest, podcast guest.
Yep.
Very cool.
So yeah.
Everyone looks genuinely happy and smiling.
Yep. It was a great day, and a lot of food was packed, and a lot of people are going to be well fed after our help. And it was really great. It was lovely. It was a wonderful feeling, and I would do that again. So it was really fun, lovely.
I actually just missed what you said. What did you say?
Oh, I said that I would do it again. It was really lovely, and everybody had a great time, great energy. And a lot of food was packed. A lot of people are going to be fed, and I feel really good about that. I feel great. I feel like I, did my part serving my community, and and I feel like in the spirit of Kofi, he would be proud of the work that we all did.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. What do you have any special memories of Kofi? Because you've had some interaction with him over the years.
So I mean, I remember one time my girlfriend and I were at the Egg seeing them, and it was middle of winter. It was really cold, but he, this is amazing. He would come out into the audience at the end of shows and like talk to people, talk to friends, and he was already talking to a group of people, and he said, "Hey, come here," and he called me over and. He brought me and Lily and a couple others, back into the backstage area. We walked right past Susan as she's crossing towards the back of the stage towards the end of at the end of the show and after the show. And, and then we walk out towards the dressing rooms, and there's Mark and everyone. And then we walk out towards the back, like go with them towards the elevators and whatnot. And we eventually just end out hanging out at the buses with like Tim and Kofi and Mark Rivers, and Kofi ends up just like going into town. He's like, all right, well, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna get some food, and then, he's he was a wonderful person. So like, he would just take people in and get to know them and ask them questions, and genuinely would like want to know like what your interests are and like how long you've been like, oh, so you're in Saratoga? Why? Like, oh, you're going to school? What are you studying? Like, he was like really not just like saying like hi to say hi. He was like interested to get to know you and remembered people too, because he had remembered that we'd met earlier in the summer in Boston, and he was waiting around like towards the end of the show, like outside the venue at the Bank of America Pavilion, and was just like hanging out, smoking a cigarette, whatever. And was like, hey, come on, let's go. And he took me back with my friend Andre to the back of the bus, and that's where I have a photo of me and him. Of me and him at like the corner area. And then I have a photo with Susan and Mark from that night, because he took me back to the bus, to the old red metal bus. And I don't know, like without Kofi, like I would not have had as many wonderful interactions with some of the band members that I did, because he was just so open and so friendly and so nice, and wanted to talk to you, and it was great. And I always remember that. And I was going back today and like listening to a couple songs. I was listening to Calling Out to You, and was listening to some of the early stuff on Revelator, and like just. So I don't know, like the way that he approached flute, man, like he would like just rip into a solo, and like that was like the first thought that he had, like when he would just like and would like it would be like this unbelievable thing. And then also he would be really meticulous about like writing stuff out and like charting and stuff, and when he wanted to, so he had like all these like unbelievable qualities, and you can totally just like feel the amount of energy in some of those pieces, that like if they were captured in any other way or not captured at all, like they would be gone in a flute, because in like a minute, because they were so like special and unique in that moment, because it was just like the first thought. And I don't know, it was really neat just going back and listening to some of the stuff and getting ready for the day, and Idle Wind being one of them too. Like I don't know if you have any thoughts on that one, but just like some of the solos that he plays on these early records, like, and then some of the later stuff too,
Yeah, thank you for sharing all that. That's why I brought you on, my friend, just to hear you talk about the personal stuff as well as the music itself, and to think about how accurate what you're saying is. I think what proves is that you make me think about what Bobby T's had to say about Kofi when I talked to him about him in the studio. I forget what song he was even talking about. I think it was something on. He was just talking about signs in general, just how Kofi would come into the studio, do his magic, and then that's it. He does a take, like that's like virtuoso type stuff. It's like you don't know what to say afterwards, so he's just like, thank you. Yeah. That's exactly what Bobby said. And then again, the personal interaction that you're describing is like how I don't think I had as many interactions with Kofi over the years, or I wasn't in the back of the bus and all that stuff. But there was a time, and I mentioned this on the podcast, when we were talking after a show at the front of the stage, and then I was getting the set list and all that, and he's asking me if I play guitar, do you play slide guitar, asking me all these questions, like, why are you asking me? And made me feel like he did make me. I remember this. He made me feel like he recognized me or knew me, and maybe he did, because that was probably maybe my 6th, 7th, 8th show at that point. Like we had this interaction, so maybe he really didn't, but he definitely was that nice. And I think I do remember him like taking the set list and going to get other signatures for me. I think either Derek or Susan or both, and then bringing it back to me. Like that's coming back to me right now. But I got Nick here, I believe, from Buffalo. I want to bring him in.
Great.
and hear what's going on in that part of the country here. Nick.
Hey, what's going on, Adam? How are you, man? How you guys doing?
Oh, nice to meet you. Good to connect. We've talked over the years a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think this is the first time on. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to do it, man. It was a great day today. It was really cool. I don't know. I think I mentioned it earlier. Renee Pfeffer, who's in charge of PR, set this thing up, and over the last couple of years, we did last year, and we also did a food drive, which was really cool, and got like 1,000 pounds of food, or 2,000 pounds of food, a ton of food, at the last TTB show in the area. It was really great. It was cool, man. So we get there, and we're all just kind of, all right, what do you want us to do? And we were loading these bags, and they told us this story just before we started, and it was so touching. It was unbeknownst to me at the time, there's 90 elementary schools in our area, in a 2-county area, where a lot of the kids don't have food on the weekends. So our plan today was we packed 720 of these bags with, the 4 food groups in them, and some fruit and some protein and some stuff. And then we tied them up in bags and packaged them up on pallets and shipped them. But the cool part was the teachers go around on Friday afternoon. So this Friday, they will go around up, and they know what kids, what lockers, and the kids leave their backpacks in the lockers, and the teachers go, all the volunteers go and load them up so the kids have food over the weekend. And it was really heartfelt to be able to do that. Last year we really kind of were a little disorganized, and we were just kind of sorting some stuff. And this year, and a lot of the repeat people, and we really felt great about it, man. It was so cool to do it in Kofi's honor, and just thrilled to be a part of it. And it's, I mean, how many cities this year? Was it 13 or something?
15, I've been told.
Unbelievable, man. That's just so cool that we're making an impact for, in honor of, our old buddy. And, I was never really close with Kofi, but I have a great Kofi story. The first time we met, I was, oh my God, it had to be 2000 or 2001, something like that. And I'm sure we could look it up. Because they played Buffalo, and then the next night they played Vermont and the X Games. And coincidentally, I was at both shows. But Derek, oh God, he couldn't have been 21 yet, I don't even think. And Derek and Kofi at the end of the show, great show. And, as brothers do, they had a little beef. And Kofi kind of, I don't want to say stormed off the stage, but he was going for a drink. And I'm like, hey, Kofi, you want a drink, man? And he says, yeah, I'll have a Grand Marnier. And at the time, I was drinking Grand Marnier like it was water. And I'm like, perfect. And I don't know, 6 hours later, we dropped Kofi off at the hotel after drinking all of the Grand Marnier in the city of Buffalo, and it was pretty spectacular. And he was, and I'd seen him 1,000 times after that. And like you were saying, Zach, he was just always so warming and cordial, and whether he remembered me or not, I'm not sure, but when we talked Grand Marnier, he did, and it was a pleasure and an honor to always be around him. He was just such a wonderful human and an amazing musician, man. So anytime we get to put our Kofi shirts on, and got my new hat today, we're in. So the team will be rolling again next year, and hopefully we don't wait a year. I think that was probably the coolest message, was everybody was like, I'll be back. And one other cool thing, there was this blind cat there, and he, I got to know, he was setting up the boxes and I was filling them, and he's there twice a week. And he's in charge of boxes because he ain't got to move. And he's the master of the tape gun. And they had a program, and it was just inspiring. And a lot of the guys and girls that we were with will definitely be back there more frequently than, once a year, which is really awesome.
Very cool. It sounds like, I mean, obviously you go back pretty far with Derek Trucks Band and Derek. What is your origin story with the band? Does it go even further back with Derek?
I mean, I'm an old man that was 20-something years at the Beacon and well into triple digits and almond shows. I remember Derek's first show with the brothers. The first official show in Cincinnati. We made a lot of traveling about it, and obviously Derek Trucks Band, and so I've been married 23 years, and my wife, obviously before we were married, asked me on a date. I was living in Vermont, actually Mount Snow. It was the year after I saw the band, Derek Trucks Band there, and Kofi was like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" I left that part out, which was quite funny, and we all got to hang out a little bit. I moved there, and my wife asked me on a date, and I was like, "Yes, where are we going?" She's like, I want to take you to see this musician. You love the blues. Like, who is it? She says, there's a new girl, her name's Susan Tedeschi. And I said, who's she playing with? She said, B.B. King, Buddy Guy, and Tommy Castro. And I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to marry this woman. And so I did.
Wow.
So I've been a big fan of the family of music for many, many years, and been blessed with some cool interactions and things of that nature. We've talked about some stuff, and it's just they're just wonderful humans with a different job than us that they happen to be spectacular at. You know what I mean? And
that's a great way to put it, because we've all been trying to express that thought, I think, in a lot of ways over the years.
I'm in the restaurant business, and I have had the honor and pleasure, and sometimes not so pleasure, to meet almost everybody, you know what I mean, has been through the restaurant or through the casinos I was working at, whatever. And there's not a group of sweeter people, in my opinion. And I find it just amazing that they can keep that together with 12 people now. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a true family, and it's inspirational, and it's, it's church, man. It clean. I'm a better man when I get home from a show. You know what I mean? And it's soul cleansing to me. And I love them all tremendously. The music and it's just so much cooler because you know how sweet they are and how they genuinely give a shit about you as a fan, and it's just spectacular.
Yeah, no, and we all feel that. What are you
No
saying,
doubt.
Zach?
You guys going to be at the Beacon shows?
Yeah, we'll be at all 3 Beacon shows. We just booked Miramar Beach, which I'm really excited about that.
Nice.
And I'm a huge JJ fan too, and the whole Tox Molly connection, and it's just fucking awesome. And to have, you know, what I would easily say are my 2 favorite bands playing the same stage over 3 days on the beach, you know, that can't be a bad thing. So, and my birthday's the next week, so I'm definitely going to that. And you know, whatever, we don't know, but man, an STB and a DTB tour wouldn't suck. I'll be at City Winery in New York a week from Sunday to see Gabe and the boys throw down. I'm really big fans of them. Randy Schrager's pretty cool ass drummer, good dude. That's a cool story, actually. I was in Jacksonville, I don't know, 3 years ago for the tour opener. It was pandemic time, whatever that was, and the after show is in the Jacksonville Jaguars field house, which is pretty awesome. And we're hanging out, we're all talking. It was time to go, and I start to walk out, and there's these 2, you know, older couple walking out, older than me, and I'm old, but they weren't, you know, whatever. Anyways, you'll understand when I finish the story. And I was blown away. Gabe had opened the show, and I was blown away, and I was like, that was fucking amazing. That opened. Gabe's band is and this sweet little woman says to me, the drummer's my son. And it was Randy Schrager's mom, and it was just the cutest thing. And all I could think of was my mom, who's 86 and thinks I'm the greatest thing in the world, would have said the same shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's my boy. And it was just so cool. And you know, and so we were able to make a bond over that. It was really a neat thing, and I'm really pumped for that show, because frankly, after the summer, it gets a little dark on shows for a minute, and Gabe and Randy and the boys are gonna give me a little fix next Sunday, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna see that at City Winery too. I'm seeing that here in Boston.
Oh yeah, right on. I think I saw you post that, actually.
You
may
want to move in closer. I was gonna say you may want to move in closer. Turn up your audio, Zach. I think you're coming in a little low.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know whether it's your your volume is low. Nick, you've seen Tedeschi Trucks Band a million times. It sounds like.
Yeah, a lot.
How's that?
You know, I see these folks with their tickets in the frames, and I go, oh shit, I wish you know, and that's just never been my MO. I'm lucky to get the stuff on. Who has stubs anymore anyways?
I do. I love stubs.
Attaboy. But I lose all the good ones typically, but I don't have a number. I know the Allman Brothers were well into triple digits, and I mean, it's been, you know, how long they've been out. I was at Soul Stew shows and whatever, and I'm if all goes well, I'm a 10 show a year kind of guy, you know. So
there you go. If
not more, I got to figure I'm sniffing triple digits, but I couldn't tell you. And I'm just excited for the next one. You know, we have a group that goes to Red Rocks now every year, which is, if you've never been, I highly, highly recommend it. And so it evolved, right? And first it was me and my buddy went, and then it was, hey, let's bring the wives. And then it was, let's get out. And then, you know, all of a sudden it's $400 for a hotel room. I got 12 people going, do the math. So we started looking at Airbnbs. And in the last 3 years, we rent these castles. It's cheaper, frankly, than a hotel room. And we rent these castles. And I had people from 6 states last year, all big fans of the band. And we just had, if there's a better outdoor venue, I haven't been there. I can tell you that. Yeah, I would say clearly my farthest distance was Milan, Italy. And that was really cool. That was pretty nuts. It's actually a great story. So I texted Skip in Italy, and when we had spoken, and I'm like, it's halfway through the show, and I'm like, no passes? And he's like, what do you mean? Didn't you get the passes I left you? And I'm like, no. And he says, fucking Italians, which was a dig at me, obviously. And we laughed. And so I I thought I could talk my way backstage to the Italian guy who doesn't speak English, who was 6'5". No, they're my friends. I just want to go say hi. It was hysterical and it didn't occur. And this dude, Don Scalimani, who is a guy from the United States that lives in Italy. He's a chef. And he's been friends with the band for 100 years. And I had never met the cat. And he walks up to me after the show and he looks at me kind of funny. He goes, "Are you Nick?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he handed me my 2 backstage passes. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that shit ain't happening very many places in the United States. Someone's taking them passes and going to the show. And this guy was just so cool. And he and I go backstage, and Skip and Susan and Derek run by. They're on their way to do something. And he goes, "Find a bar. Find a close bar," he says to me. I'm in the bar business. I can do that. And we went across the street, and there was this great bar right across the street. And these 2 Italian brothers, and I don't know if you've been drinking in Italy, but when they're ready to go home, they're going home. And I'm like, "Look, man, you have to stay open. The band's coming." And he's like, yeah, whatever. And, Chris, $100. And that guy was like, "Fine." And we had the most fun. The entire band was there. And then Skip was yelling at us because they had to get on the bus to go to Trieste. And that was, I don't know, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And we just had the most fun. It was, like I said, man, it's just, it's an honor to be friends with those guys. I mean, I wouldn't call us close friends. I just think I'm a huge fan that they've seen me enough and we're really cool when we're together. And it makes it so much sweeter, but the music's what bring it all together.
You got a room for me in that Airbnb? I know Zach's got a group too. Either of you guys?
I am absolutely sure that we always get a room with bunks in it too, and just in case, there's always space, bro. We had a crazy bear story last year. My buddy was talking bear to this black bear that got into the garbage, and it treed literally 20 feet from me. I was on the second deck patio, and the bear was, I don't know, 10 or 15 feet above us, and not able to jump on us, but it was 30 feet out. And my boy Pork was talking bear to it. I hope he sees this right now. It'd be pretty funny if he did. But so many great stories, just interactions with the band and crazy traveling stories, but it always seems to come down to the music and how it hits me right in the soul. And I played. They gave us playlists as the captains of the teams, and I put it in early. Terrible mistake, and I was crying my eyes out before I got there. Just when I hear her voice, and shit just starts getting real. And I think Zach, right? You were the one that mentioned calling out to you. So my 86-year-old mother, I'm referring to the one when the 3 of them sat on the deck or on the porch, right? And my mother was like, my mother's 86 and she knows I love the band and she, whatever, but she doesn't really. She met everybody, but she's never gone to shows. And she's like, "Who's Kofi? Tell me the story." So that's the video that I sent her. I'm like, that's Kofi right there. That to me, I think, and I couldn't find the original Space Captain video that was just blew me away when they did that first one. There's 100 of them now, and I didn't have time to go through them. But just like I said, it's all about the music, and to know that they're wonderful people too really makes it even that much better, in my opinion.
Well, I was going to touch on it, but I think you already answered the question because I was going to ask you because you've dealt with other, it sounds like public figures and maybe celebrities, musicians.
I've been in the restaurant business for 40 years, so sadly, my worst experience with a celebrity was Aretha. It breaks my heart to this day, but she was such a bitch. It was real, mean. Genuinely mean to fans that I saw. It wasn't secondhand. It was, come on, the lady's 60 years old, sign her fucking CD. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. She's the queen. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disparaging her, but it was really disappointing. But yeah, I mean, I've been lucky to meet quite a few people along the way in my career. Yeah.
Well, maybe she was having a bad day or getting older. And
funny story. It was a casino, and I was running this restaurant. I had a private dining room in the casino, and I was pretty dialed in. And so the cat shows up with the check, and she's like, "No, baby, we don't take checks." Go walk your ass, something to the tune of walk your ass over to that cage and bring me the cash. And the dude walked in with a giant duffel bag full of cash, and she was on her way out. So I don't know how upset she could have been, but whatever. Like I said, I'm not here to disparage Aretha. It was just as a comparison, it's a different world.
Yeah, thank you for sharing all these stories and personal experiences and with the band and your love for the music and you speak pretty damn eloquently about it, as do you, Zach. It's just so cool for me to connect with all these fans, and I can't help but think back to earlier when you guys, you, Nick, and both you guys were talking about like the importance of the work that we were all doing today and that all these organizations do and these places do. And I'm not losing sight of that, but between the podcast and connecting with fans and getting ready and literally just doing the work itself, you can almost forget like who you're doing it for and whatnot and how important it is.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it was really nice to know that we were packing a bunch of meals for, these really wonderful people who needed help, who, we were basically acting as a resource for them and to help them get what they needed. And it felt great to know that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Knowing that 720 kids are going to eat this weekend because of something we did is pretty special. Makes you think, what the hell happens when, what else? Who's feeding them when we're not there, right? I mean, it makes you think about it.
Well, I really appreciate the work that the other volunteers do as well, because in Boston, at least, I know that there was a ton of other volunteers there besides our little Kofi group. So there were just regular people who just go in on what seems like to be like a clocked schedule. And it's really nice to see that this community gets together and does this, even when I'm not there for a Kofi day. It's like, they seem like such a well-oiled machine. It's really nice to know that this area has that. It's great.
Hey, you were in Boston, right?
That's right. Today we
was Susan's brother there? He's a really cool dude.
No, so nobody from the band or the family or anything like that came up and showed up. So
we got to hang out after Madison Square Garden for a minute. He was a really nice guy.
Yeah. They're really sweet.
This is Gabe in
Gabe in Nashville.
Nashville, right?
Yeah, That's great. Yeah.
Yep.
Whoop! There we go.
Him and his wife.
Yep, lovely.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see him next Sunday.
Yeah, those guys were super cool. I remember I connected with his band also after a show when they were. I love their band. His band too.
They kill, man.
Yeah,
that was great when they were the opener on tour.
Yeah, I'm gonna see him at City Winery in Boston, and then I've got the 3 Beacon shows lined up as well. Adam, did you? I don't know if I got your answer. Did you? Are you gonna go as well to Beacon?
Yeah. Message me. I will hook up. We should figure out a pregame plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
There've been some pretty funny stories after Beacon shows. That's for damn sure. None that I can really share, but pretty funny.
Adam, are you going to all 3?
I am.
Yeah, sweet, cool. All right. Yeah, no, I'll be there up in the loge, like towards the back wall, but in the bottom there. It'll be nice. And
I want to see if I go on.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I wanted to share a video that Ann Flam sent me of it looks like in Atlanta.
Ann and David are amazing, by the way. I think I'm a huge fan. I can't hold their candle. You know what I mean? They are amazing.
I think you guys. It sounds like you're all on par with each other, which is you can't even
I happened to luck out and be at David's 100th show a little while back, and it was pretty spectacular.
I was randomly watching that show or listening to it, and I got to the part where Susan said, "Oh, it's David's 100th, show," and it's just funny that I wasn't specifically looking for that or thinking of it, and I'm just listening to a random show. I'm like, "Oh, that's because that show is on YouTube." I forget. I'm not sure who recorded that show, but I think that one is on YouTube.
Let's see just on that note, we all know David, right? David's and his videos. There it is. What do you got there?
This is from the Atlanta day. They were gardening, planting trees, garden flowers. This looks like
Great.
produce. Let's see if I
That's
could play this, and then you guys can hear it. Let me know if
Audio,
you hear it.
No, I can't hear it.
No, you can't hear it?
No
Can't hear
audio.
it.
That's not ideal. The struggle is real. But anyway, it works as a photograph.
Yeah, no doubt.
You can see they're wearing the Kofi ads.
You can still play the video though, like we still see it. That's fine.
Yeah. She's just explaining how to keep the earth alive. I'm guessing, and keep nature going. Yeah. I see a Braves jersey there. Grateful Dead. That's super cool. Yeah, this was going on all over the country, and they put us to work. I seen you guys cooking.
I worked up a ladder. I was working. It was awesome.
Yeah, we have to sign waivers, so if we fall off the ladder and crack our head open, we won't sue the organizations or the band or anyone.
Oh yeah, we had to fill out a thing on an iPad that was like saying we were working there, or whatever. And there was a bunch of terms of service waiver. Yeah.
It's always good when David's at a show because I don't know how he does it, but he records whole songs, like several. Like I can't do that.
He's great, yeah.
I can get a couple minutes and I gotta feel it. You know what I mean? And he's like religiously taping amazing songs and posting them at shows that we can't be at. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, I think Dave's in the chat.
Yeah, he was saying that the lady who was, I think, helping them garden was wonderful. I forget her name. I should have probably mentioned that. Yeah, no, I appreciate David's live videos.
Yeah, you can hear us, David. We love you, bro. I'll see you at the Beacon.
All the tapers. Yeah, it's such a cool thing to be part of this community. I mean, I would not be surprised if some of us end up just going to volunteer just like on our own. We should.
Oh, that will definitely happen. We work with Feed More multiple times a year. During the pandemic, there was a program called Restaurant Resiliency Fund, and I mentioned I'm in the restaurant business, and there was this program where restaurants were feeding the needy for, I think they had it was like a $250,000 per restaurant kind of thing. And that's when we started working with Feed More. We have over 100,000 meals into the community, which is pretty spectacular. Well, it was mostly during the pandemic, but that's why we're still there, because people are always hungry.
No, that's great, important work. What else do we need to cover? Anything else? Anyone want to tell any more stories, Kofi stories, or anything about the day that I'm sure there's things I'm forgetting? Everyone was so cool just to connect with. Like, it felt like at times like, oh, this is just a live podcast for me, like, because everyone's just talking about music and TTB and doing work. I'm like, it's just cool to be around like-minded people, to be honest with you.
No doubt. No doubt. It was really cool. We had a bunch of conversations about your favorite venues and this and that, and your favorite music. And it was just, like you said, it was, I don't think we had 13 or 14 people that were just all like-minded and just there because we love the music and we're happy to help and talking about shows. And I mean, I've been to shows with most of the people in the room, kind of cool.
Yeah. What about you, Zach?
I mean, our kitchen was kind of quiet, so we didn't have too much conversations. I tried to get it started about shows and like, how was the New Hampshire show, and like trying to get some folks started. But like, I don't know, everybody was kind of just focused on packing the food, so we were very busy in the kitchen.
Different vibe. I think we had a good balance. We had like little groups of people. These people work on this bin. These people work on this bin. These people.
Oh yeah, right. It was grouped. It was split. So like some of us were in different parts of the room. Yeah.
So you meet different people, have different conversations, and how do you get connected with the band? I mean, I'm basically I was in host mode a little bit there too. Perhaps.
Oh, I was certainly designated photo taker for the day, so I was.
Everybody
in host
stepped
mode as well.
Yeah, everybody stepped up, like I was saying, Tammy and you guys, and just for helping organized, in whatever ways we can. The West Coast is deprived. I don't know if that means in terms of the needy or in terms of TTB shows or what.
TTB shows, I think, because I don't know if they get enough shows out there on.
Right? No, we don't. We don't. But
Hey,
thank
what
you
about
guys.
what? You know what?
You
What
go on.
about the Sphere? TTB at the Sphere.
I like it.
I would do that. I would see that.
I would make a Vegas show if they played Vegas, 100%.
That would make
like a
that would
pretty
make me
cool
go to
venue.
Vegas.
Well,
if
I've
they
been
did
talking
a residency.
I was at the last time they did a residency at the Vegas at the what was it, the Link at Caesars, whatever it is, but at Brooklyn Bowl in Vegas was they did 3 shows. This was before I was even insane like I am now, because I only went to one. You believe that? I only went to one show, and it was a very affordable general admission show where you could basically go up to the stage, and I only went to the second show of 3.
Wow.
That's 20. I think that was 2014. Yeah, the Brooklyn Bowl, says Tammy. Yeah, maybe they will do Vegas. It seems like Vegas could be more of 2023, 2024 Tedeschi Trucks vibe than maybe the last few years. Something they're very open to. Like that'd be convenient. Oh yeah, that would be good. I'd be down for that. But now I'm rambling and ranting. But to hear you, I think Nick talk about Red Rocks makes me think about how that really is. It sounds like amongst the TTB community, the quintessential outdoor place to see TTB, and maybe like the indoor venue to see TTB. Like the Beacon, obviously.
It's the Beacon. I think there's no question. It's got to be the Beacon. Yeah.
What about the Ryman? What about the Ryman, though?
Ryman was cool, man. Ryman was cool, and I didn't realize that. Like the rows are arced, so I was in 3, and I don't remember I think I was in 3 or 4, but the number, and my elbow was on the stage. You know what I mean? Like and it's hollowed ground, so that made it really cool. But Nashville trouble.
What's number 1 indoor? I mean, it's all apples, and maybe it's not, but like Ryman or Beacon. I mean, what is the?
Beacon.
It's the Beacon, hands down. Just the crowd and the experience, and Nashville's great, and I will definitely go back to the Ryman. But the Beacon's a can't miss. In my opinion.
For audio listeners, I'm wearing a New York City Beacon Theater 2018 Tedeschi Trucks tour shirt.
And I got my hoodie on as well, my 4 Symbols hoodie on the back. Someone actually had this same hoodie, which is kind of rare. They need to reproduce these, and maybe 5 symbols, add in some of the I Am the Moon symbols. There's these. I'm going to post 2 comments here that were in reverse order because one kind of responds to the other. David Flam says 2024 is looking light on shows, and then Tammy anticipates that they will announce. Tammy Goldsmith says they will announce the summer schedule soon. Yeah, I think there's going to be more shows. Like they're going to do some more shows. It's just not going to be 200 shows like that, or whatever. It's not going to be crazy, and I get it.
I mean, now we can talk about them. They happened. Those little private firesides were nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sure we'll see some more things like that.
It seems like they're open to It's cool that I think it's cool that we get the fireside things when it's 6 members and stripped down and smaller venues and private, secret, unannounced, whatever it is. These sort of unique shows, and then you also get all 12 at an arena. Now that's also a possibility now. So, what band can you say that about that has such a wide range of I guess venues they can play in and make work for them, and they're, I mean, in a lot of ways they are just a bar band and a party band, but just the best one of that too. So they could play, they have played through private events and things like that.
And they were really excited, by the way, about playing the Garden. I think I heard Derek and Susan say something like, it was amazing because it was the first time that they were playing in the Garden as TTB, but then they pulled out the poster from when Derek was playing with Eric Clapton at MSG for the 3 nights, and it was September 29th, Friday, which was the same date that they were playing MSG, September 29th, Friday, 2006, and it was the last time that Friday, September 29th fell on a Friday.
I hope crazy. Yeah, I hope the weather didn't not ruin, but make it ruin, put too much of a damper, pun intended, on the whole day, because I could imagine that being stressful, because there were a fair amount of fans being like, you guys should cancel, postpone, what are you doing? So there was probably some maybe debate amongst the band and their what to do, or just how to handle it. It's just a stressful thing in general.
I think that's why they gave folks that MSG code. So folks who attended the show were given a special code for MSG attendees for the pre-sale for the Beacon shows. So I believe those Beacon shows were announced in response, basically. I don't know if they were already lined up, but it was great timing.
That was my next question. Is it because they were in MSG? They're in New York City. They're talking to maybe you got
Shapiro
or whoever. Yeah, who's that? The
Peter Shapiro.
He does the booking.
He's the booker for MSG Radio City
and Beacon. Okay,
Beacon and Capitol. He does the Capitol Theater. He does a ton of stuff.
Yeah, it's possible that they said like the band's management goes to Shapiro's like, listen, we got a tornado, or they come to this idea together where it's like we want to appease the fans because this is this is something out of the ordinary. Let's give them some kind of offer for upcoming shows. How about we do shows at the Beacon? Like I could see that organically coming together. I don't know how
either that or it was brilliant marketing to hold off on announcing those shows until after the Garden, because they announced those shows at the Garden party.
Yeah, there was. I shared
MSG,
some of that's pushback too, and. It looked pretty friggin' full to me, man. It was pretty awesome.
It did. It looked full. It looked full. Yeah. Same with Boston. Boston was very full. It was all the way full on the floor, and then maybe about like 80% full on the top, like just a little empty in the back. But I mean, I understand because that's a far ticket, But I mean, fish will sell out. So
I think the next time TTB does an arena show, I think there's going to be more excitement for it. And from everyone, and less skepticism from everyone, and like I think the fans are more mentally prepared, and I think the band is more. I'm sure they're more prepared of what's involved in putting on and dealing with like an arena show versus something else. Yeah. So we're like we kind of know a little bit more what to expect, and they kind of know a little bit more to expect. So I think those two factors are going to make us all more excited to see TTB in arena. And I can't help but think about, just think about David Flam's literal perspective at the show. Like he was like, oh, you know what? We were kind of skeptical of like, we're going to be too far. The sound's not going to be good, but maybe we should put our trust in Bobby. And I was going to mention that like he had the side view. So you get an all 12 from the side.
I was on the side too, and I loved it. I did walk around and get some of the screens. I missed the screens, but I had no problem with the location. I thought it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, you get a unique view of all 12 and the drummers and the back and all that, like because there's no wide side view at the theater, so you're getting a little bit of a different view, even if it's in an arena.
I was center court on the not like the floor raised part, and not at the most upper part, but like just right along the railing, basically in the guard. So I was like center court, and I had a nice like angle view of the stage. It was great, and I walked around a little bit. I saw from Bobby's side if I could get down, but they were very strict about letting people go to different zones in TD Garden. So I didn't have a great way to get down and see things, but from the most part, we were in a great spot listening to everything, and it was funny. We were in an area where like most people were kind of like seated, but the floor was everybody was up on their feet, so it kind of makes sense. It's like with the Beacon crowd is very much with the Allman Brothers and stuff. When I was growing up, like it was the standing crowd would be down on the ground, and everybody upstairs would be kind of like seated, unless you were like more towards the back and not blocking anybody, then you'd be standing. But it was kind of neat.
TTB is an arena rock band now.
Certainly.
That's what I'm going to go around. That if I ever go to an MSG show or show like that, that's probably I could picture myself walking around drinking and then like running into all kinds of familiar faces and just being like, "We're an arena rock band now." That'd be a fun vibe.
Yeah, hopefully I don't play arena rock though.
I'm a smaller the better guy,
I do like the small stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
Of course, that's why one of my most memorable shows happens to be that Brooklyn Bowl show, because the fact that it was general admission and you could. I was leaning on the stage. My drink was on the stage. You could do that, I guess, back in those days, which is not that long ago, but it seems like a long time ago.
My version of the small show was, again, that the CBGB show that they did at John Vervados in New York City.
Right.
Like, I was right up along.
That's what it felt like
insane.
watching those Yeah, that's what it felt like watching that video, and even going
it
back.
It was so tiny in there, man. I'm telling you, and like I had to rush up to the front because there was a ton of people there. That was like a ton of people, meaning to fit the small room. It was like 100 or two, like not even 100 people. It was tiny. But it was amazing. It was a great show, and like seeing them in such a small venue, like the vibe in there, dude. Like Kofi brought it to like, a whole other level. Like it was insane. It was insane.
Yeah, anyway. There's every time Kofi has a solo, especially of any kind, whether it be flute or keyboard, piano, whatever it is. Like there's a point during that where they called it like you look at your speaker. You're looking when you hear something out of the ordinary, be it talk radio, podcast, or music. Like you actually look at like what was that? What did I just hear? What did that man do? Where did that come from? Because I don't know, just some of the things him and of course Derek do, but like the virtuosos, like they really catch you off guard with some of their stuff, because it's like my brain can't even like comprehend what you just did, but it sounded so perfect and so like moving in a way that I can't explain. And that's, I guess, the whole purpose for music is to like express the unexpressible. Like I was asking people recently for more recommendations for instrumentals in the vein of Elizabeth Reed and Mountain Jam and stuff like that, because it's good for me to like listen to that stuff when I'm working and writing and just trying to be productive, and I'm able to listen to music.
Passaquan all day, man. That's Liz Reed recreated, man. Right. When they play Passaquan, I'm like, this is their Liz Reed. It's just such a beautiful.
I call it his magnum opus.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, I keep saying that. Like, I hope that that becomes a thing where on all TTB albums, or at least originals, and moving forward, I just hope we get more of the compositions, the extended compositions like that. But what made me think of the instrumentals is that I've been diving more into the jazz stuff and the Miles Davis stuff and all that. Like, I've listened to, of course, in the past, but really like getting into it more and more and loving it more and more, especially these days. And just thinking about how those instrumentals and some of those compositions like really do express the unexpressible, and like it's just hard to explain. There's just so many unique things expressed through the music that I can't say with words. And it's just like you can hear a Miles Davis or Passaquan and be like, I didn't know I felt that. Like, that's why you need the music.
Go back and listen to some of the early DTB stuff, with Kofi and Enrico and Derek. There's some really nice instrumental tunes on some of the early Derek albums, some of the studio and the live stuff too. I mean, just and Kofi's got these really nice like instrumental, melody licks that follow along with Derek's, melody lines on guitar. So like they do this whole like synchronized melody. It's really neat. It's very jazzy. Very cool stuff, and I would go back. You should go back and listen to some of that.
What was that specifically you were saying to
Derek Trucks Band with Kofi Enrico on drums, Kofi on organs and flute. I think Todd Smalley was in the band at the time on bass. It's some really good stuff, man.
At what time period or show or anything specific you were?
It's some of the early records. Like I think either on Soul Serenade. Or
I love all that.
Live at the Georgia Bootleg, or I think Songlines is another one. But like there's like some really good like little like licks that Derek and Kofi follow along a melody with each other in synchronization.
I could swear I could swear that I would hear like a Derek doing a solo and playing a certain melody during his work, and then the next day, or vice versa, Kofi would play a similar melody for his solo, but not at this. But like the next night, they would almost like respond to each other. But at the same time, yeah.
There were like certain. I'm talking about like rehearsed melodies. So like like they would, if a song was an instrumental, right, it would at least have like a main, riff that runs throughout the song that that all the band leads back to. So they would play in synchronization of that melody, and it was like very neat, like hearing, Kofi and Derek do this, but like all in sync, in synchronization, but syncopation too. So it was very like, it felt like that part was rehearsed, but then everything else would then explode into this, Kofi has a whim of an idea, or Derek has a whim of an idea, or like they would go back. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like it's very neat stuff. So if you're looking for instrumentals, go back and listen to that.
Yeah, those guys are just super, super talented. Great to meet you too, Chris Streams Triple X here, commenting here. There were a couple of Chris's in Los Angeles, but it was good to meet both Chris's. Yeah, good stuff all around from you guys. Thank you so much for the stories. It's just been so
Absolutely.
cool.
Thanks for doing it, man. Hey, I got to bounce, but I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, you're on East Coast time. That's right.
Yep.
Nick in Buffalo.
It's 10 o'clock here.
We'll talk more.
I'll see your ass in. I'll see your ass in Red Rocks, boys. I'll definitely see you in New York.
New York first, yeah, for sure.
Take care, brothers.
Cheers. And then there were two.
And then there were two.
It's been just. I mean, I'm just gonna keep saying it on every show, just because when I don't know what exactly to say, I just comment on how awesome it's been to connect with this community and how unexpected it's been, and now the community is doing. Is this the second annual?
Third.
Kofi? This is the third. I didn't volunteer the first time. Maybe I don't remember.
No, I didn't either because I don't think there was anything.
Maybe not have been. Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
It probably was.
I was like, oh man, there's nothing near me. Like I would totally do this, but there's nothing near me, so I couldn't do it.
I'm not gonna help
near me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna help someone.
Yeah, exactly. What am I gonna do? Not help?
Like, no, what am I gonna do? Help if it's not related. Yeah, I was gonna say, what am I gonna do? Help if it's not related to TTB, but this gets us that this. It's good that this it's an excuse or reason to get us all out into our communities and connecting with these organizations. Because like we're all saying, even if like a fraction of us go back, that's still a lot of help. And some of us are going to bring back other people, so that can make up for the difference as well. And they say the greatest thing or the best thing you can give someone is your time, and we're giving time and also energy and whatnot. Tammy confirms they didn't have one in our area in Los Angeles the first time. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Zach. I know it's getting late, and I appreciate it. You popping on. It means a lot as always. Keep me posted with what you're up to. Reach out anytime if you got thoughts for podcast episodes or stuff you want to talk about, shows coming up or anything, ideas. We were always talking music, of course. Yeah, like I said, I'm talking to all you guys. Like, it's funny how I'm often messaging with one of you guys, and I don't even realize I'm listening to TTB as I'm messaging someone talking about TTB while I'm wearing my TTB hoodie. And I'm not even somebody who thinks of myself as. I guess I am crazy with this band, but I don't have an insane amount of memorabilia, but I do wear the same hoodie a lot. It is my number one. I was wearing what I would normally be wearing other than the hat edition at the warehouse today. Tammy thanks us for the recap. Thank you for recapping. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, TTB and Kofi and everyone connected to the band. I'm going to let you go, my friend.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Let's talk more soon.
And we'll always connect with you and be happy to come on some more shows, do some planning offline, and
for sure.
Maybe I'll come on for the Beacon shows. How about that?
Yeah, I'll set up something in New York, something live. I'm gonna get that set up.
That'd be great.
We'll do something. Even Instagram live might be fun to do, just for something more casual, something like that.
That'd be awesome.
We'll work it out.
Cool.
You got it.
Sounds great.
Peace.
So
there you go. Episode 135, recapping Kofi Burbridge. day of service in 15 cities. I wanted to read off all the cities and the thing and the causes, but it looks like that's no longer on the website. But that aside, it was such a good, productive day for all, from what I gather. And many of the cities, it seems like, exceeded expectations in terms of people who showed, amount of people who showed, and the amount of output that we all did, be it working in the kitchen or planting things in the garden or packing up food in the warehouse. Just good stuff all around. I think Kofi would be proud. Who wouldn't be proud? I'm proud of myself. Anyway, hope everyone's doing okay out there. Follow the show. It's at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram. Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on YouTube. Positive reviews are appreciated on Apple Podcasts. I'm at Adam Choit on Instagram and Twitter, adamchoit.com for all my other projects and stuff that I'm up to. Tedeschi Trucks Podcast.com for all things for the show. Tedeschi Trucks Band.com for all things related to the band. Buy tickets to shows, buy merch, join the Swamp Family fan club. That came up multiple times today. That's how people found out about the whole Kofi volunteer thing. A bunch of people just appreciating that and getting alerts for things and fan codes and discounts and just staying up to date on everything. That's been a super cool thing that they've been able to put together and develop, and they're open to fan feedback and whatnot on it. So it's constantly evolving and getting better. So I think better and better. So I think people appreciate that. The Swamp Family Fan Club app, totally worth signing up for that. But I think that's about all I got for today. We got one more from Tammy here: Buffalo, Los Angeles, New Jersey, Denver, Charlotte, Nashville, San Diego, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Boston, New York. That covers all of it, or if not all of it, pretty damn close to all of it. But yeah, super good day all around, from what I understand. I'm sure the band and probably more people are going to be posting more stuff on social media in the next couple of days. So I'll probably be on the lookout for that. Maybe I'll try to save some of that and even share more on another episode. Yeah, I mean, I'm open to talking more. I mean, obviously with the band slowing down a little bit on the road in the coming weeks and months, and we'll see on more dates for 2024. But if more people want to talk about Kofi or their experience today volunteering, I'm open to that. And like I said, there's probably going to be more pictures and videos and things coming out that might be worth sharing and posting and talking about on the show. So that's something I'm down for too. But I think that's about all I got for today. I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you to the band crew, Renee, Tammy, Zach, Nick in Buffalo. Nice to meet him. But yeah, let's talk soon. Peace.